Welcome back to Tailgate Talk. I'm your host, Wyatt G. I'm here with the boys. Now we got a very special podcast. So it's literally a week before free agency, and we're going to talk about Packers free agents coming up this upcoming season, and we're going to find out some other free agents on the market that might replace some of those guys. We got a very special guests with me. We have the man in the middle, little cousin.
What it do?
Murphy. And then we have the one, the only
Packers Insider. How's it going?
the Packers Insider, Easton, our boy. Great friend of ours. You know, he has all this information. All right, so we got a long list of free agents this year, and unfortunately, it's some that we actually know pretty well. So starting off, we got Josh Nijman, Keyshawn Nixon, Darnell Savage, Jonathan Ford, ajdillon, Eric Wilson, Josiah DeGuara, Tyler Davis, Jonathan Owens, Zane Anderson, Robert Rochelle, John Runyon, Caleb Jones, Daniel Whelan, and Patrick Taylor. All right, guys, who's the one guy that you think will be back next year? Easton?
I'm throwing out Daniel Whelan. I mean, there's no contest right now, and he was really good holding punts especially, so I can see him back.
But I would go in the direction of Yash. I think Yash is going to be back next year. I think we're going to need a little more depth at tackle. I don't think we're going to be drafting any offensive linemen early on. Maybe we'll catch something later on. We've had quite a bit of success in the later rounds with offensive linemen. So I'm thinking Yash sticks around and we pick something up later on.
He's going to get a payday somewhere, but I don't think it's Green Bay. I think he's seen his way out. He kind of got pushed to the back, and he was behind Rashid Walker, who performed exceptional last year. I can see Rashid starting at left tackle if Bakhtiari isn't back.
Okay, so let's say Bakhtiari returns. What do you think the rotation is going to be like at tackles?
That's tough.
So I think it'll be Bakhtiari left tackle. You still got Zach Tom right, and I think Rashid's going to I think he'll be starting a little bit more early on, just so Bakhtiari can get comfortable playing again, so he can rotate back in, every other drive or something, and eventually down the road get Yash some work at right tackle because he's primarily left. And as soon as you move him back or move Yash to right tackle, you can kick Zach Tom over to right guard, because that's a question mark right now, because Runyon's still a free agent. He wants to return, but we don't know where he is with that. And then Sean Ryan's, he was doing okay.
He did great last year.
But then he kind of regressed towards the end of the year. True. Where John Runyon took back the role.
True. Let's just say Bakhtiari does not return. What do you think the starting two tackles will look like next year for the Packers?
Yeah, easily you got Yash and you got Zach Tom. Those are your 1-2 combo right there.
The question is, which domino falls first, Bach or Yash? I feel like the Bach is really going to set everything up. Like, that's the biggest thing on the plate they got to deal with. It's $40 million they're expected to pay him this year.
We'll figure it out by the end of today, because free agency starts on Wednesday, but the tampering period starts tomorrow on Monday. So if we want to move it around, you'll figure it out by Wednesday, but if anything happens, it will be Monday. And I think he stays. I think they restructure him.
The one guy I can see returning is the one, the only, Eric Wilson. If you look at him, I mean, he's led the team in tackles on special teams the last 2 years. And consider that's why he's been a captain multiple times this season. And then you just saw him in the playoffs make that incredible fumble recovery. I mean, all around, he's a solid guy on special teams. He's a true leader at the end of the day, his positivity and energy, and he makes plays.
If Eric Wilson returns next year, do you see him getting reps at middle linebacker or outside linebacker?
Probably not as much, because if you think about it, we have Quay, right? Dog. Devondre, if he returns, we have him still. Maybe, maybe not. We're definitely going to draft a linebacker for sure. Like, hands down, there's no way we don't draft one or two.
I would agree with that.
Or we just draft one and then sign to unrestricted,
I don't think Devondre will be back, but we did sign him to a 5-year, $50 million deal, and I don't know the restructure numbers, but...
Let walk or re-sign Yash.
I would say bring him back on a cheaper deal. Try to put some more money towards free agency.
Unfortunately, just because I feel like we're going to draft a couple guys on the O-line. I mean, our rotation already is pretty solid and it's pretty competitive. unfortunately, I think they're just going to let him walk. As much as I love Yash, I think they're going to let him walk. Keyshawn Nixon.
He's been really cryptic recently on Twitter.
I've seen that.
Instagram, and I think he wants to get paid what he knows he's worth. And knowing Green Bay, we will not want to pay him that much. And I think he will find a better deal.
Unfortunately, I think they let him walk, though. As much as I love Key, I think they're going to let him walk. All right, let's go Darnell Savage. Now we get to some safeties. A lot of question marks at the safety position. Keep or let walk or re-sign?
Man, a report came out at the end of February that we have not had a single contract talk with him. And knowing Darnell, and from what they were saying too in that article, they know Darnell's going to get a bigger contract than we expect in free agency. And I don't think, like, he's been extremely hit or miss with Green Bay. I don't think we will re-sign him. I think it was gone.
It reminds me like when we had Chandon Sullivan a few years ago when he was due for a big contract.
Yeah.
And we let him go and he went to Minnesota and got a big payday. We're going to let him go and he's going to get paid somewhere else. Moving on to the safety position again.
Mr. Rudy
Jonathan
Ford.
or Rudy Ford. What do we feel about that? I mean, he's a ball hawk, but he did have some injuries throughout the year.
I would love to see him back. I mean, he is pivotal on special teams. You could see that when we signed him beginning of 2022, and he played pretty well there. I do think he can come back, and he could possibly, I don't want to say start on the defense, but I can see him being like safety number 3 or 4, being a rotational piece.
I mean, I feel like they got to keep at least one safety out of all three between him, Savage, and Owens. And I feel like they'll probably keep Rudy over J.O. realistically. So they probably keep Rudy over J.O. honestly. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I could go back and forth. But we'll get to the next one. Speaking of Jonathan Owens, he's a free agent as well. His husband is Simone Biles. Big media, right? What do you think about that, Easton? Is J.O. out or not?
I would love to see him come back, but I don't think he will. I mean, he struggled at times. His coverage, it could have been better. Wasn't terrible, but as soon as you threw him in due to injuries, you could just tell he shouldn't be it. I mean, he started when he was in Houston, but Houston was shit.
Leads us now to a fan favorite, our guy, ajdillon. I'll start this one off. I would love to see AJ come back. Love to, but I know the Packers aren't going to want to try and pay him anything.
Yeah, I can't see him coming back. I mean, we draft him with the expectation that he'd be another Derrick Henry type, and he's shown flashes, but he has not been consistent enough. And a report did come out, I believe, earlier this week that he is more than likely gone, and Green Bay are not willing to re-sign him, which sucks. I mean, you can tell he loves Green Bay, loves the fans, everything. And that's what makes it harder when he's going to be gone, signing somewhere else.
I unfortunately don't see him coming back, too. He had 2 great seasons before the season, got injured a little bit towards the end. I would love to see him back in green and gold. I just don't see it happening.
I guarantee it. The Titans offer him a deal.
I hope so.
And he goes to Tennessee.
That'd be awesome.
Derrick Henry's out. That's his favorite team. Watch. I guarantee it, calling it. Tyler Davis, Josiah DeGuara. I think Davis, gone, walk. DeGuara, probably let him walk too, honestly. We can draft. We have Sims, Kraft, and Musgrave. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, with Sims coming in undrafted, signing him towards the end of at the beginning of the year, Josiah kind of got pushed to the 4th role. I mean, now that we have Tucker Kraft that we picked up in the 3rd, he's taken over DeGuara's role, and DeGuara is just the odd man out. And sucks for Tyler Davis too, because he tore his ACL early in the year. You know, Ben Sims kind of took his role. And with those two, and Ben Sims actually playing pretty well, I can't see either of those two tight ends coming back.
Yeah, I don't know if I could see either of them two coming back. If we do pick up one of the two, who would you go with?
I would probably go Tyler Davis, but I mean, DeGuara just hasn't been what we wanted, and like I said, he's pushed out of his role. Tyler Davis, you kind of want to, yes, he just tore his ACL, but you could also want to see what else he can bring to the table.
I think we'll do a little rapid fire here. John Runyon on the line.
It's so hit or miss. I mean, you can tell he's got
They're
the
mutual.
passion for
They've
Green
been
Bay.
talking too.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, he's got the passion, And you could tell at the end of the year, the final conferences, he was in tears because he knows how much Green Bay means to him. I would love to see him back.
Interesting.
I want him back.
Oh no, I think we kind of let him walk.
Really?
I mean, the Packers have a history of letting O linemen walk. Like, look at Corey Linsley. He went to the Chargers. You have Brian Bulaga. He went and left. There's some other guys on the O line that have left, like Billy Turner. He went to the Jets. I mean, when it comes to re-signing O linemen, the Packers usually don't do that unless there's some like D-Bak, And unfortunately, what happened to D-Bak, that was just kind of like a fluke. But I don't know. I think they just might let him walk because, like I said, or we talked about, the rotation at O-line is pretty deep, and we know they're going to draft a few for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think, though, if we do end up re-signing Runyon, it could be between him and Sean Ryan because we have a question mark at right guard. We're not 100% sure.
All right, Daniel Whelan. I know, Easton, you said probably be back, huh? Why?
I mean, we have no other punter. He played pretty well.
Bring in Patty.
Hey, I would love it, but Whelan beat out Pat last year during training camp. They'll sign an undrafted guy. They won't draft a punter. It's not Green Bay's nature to draft specialists, which was why it was surprising to get Anders.
Big on special teams. Definitely fills in when he needs to in running back position. I think he's an overall dynamic guy. I would love to keep him, honestly. He can do so much, so I'd say re-sign.
Man, this one hurts. I mean, PT's my guy. Love PT. Great dude. But as much as I want Green Bay to re-sign him, and I'd kill to re-sign him, I don't think he's coming back, especially after recent reports of Emmanuel Wilson, which we'll get into soon.
Emmanuel Wilson, he was looking good during the Chargers game, then got hurt on a big play where he broke out. He was hurt majority then, and then he came back towards the playoffs, had a couple plays. He was looking nice. What do you guys think about him returning? I say yes.
He is 100% a lock. A report, I think it was yesterday or the day before that, and this is all, I think it was from Jeremy Fowler. He heard reports at the Combine that the Packers are really high in Emmanuel Wilson, and they see him being the number 2 back for this upcoming year. Which, with that, it definitely throws the running back market in a loop, which is why people are like, oh, we're going to get this guy. Right. I think we'll get a lower tier guy, or we'll draft one late.
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt Emmanuel will be back in green and gold this year. Packers love him. He's young. We're gonna see what he's got this upcoming year, huh?
Great kid. His story is really inspiring when you think about all the stuff he's came through, and I'm very excited to see what he can bring to the table next year. So then that leads to our last guy. Now this guy is a big reoccurring guest on. I got a question. Shout out our boy Eric Wilson-Ewell. He made a massive fumble recovery in the divisional game against San Fran, and it's a big upcoming contract. What do you guys think? Do you think he returns or not this year?
Yeah, we'll sign him to a cheap deal. Definitely really solid special teams. And that dude, like we talk about ajdillon being Quadzilla. Have you seen Ewell's biceps?
He's
dude,
massive.
He could crush a watermelon with his biceps. He'll be back.
Now let's look at some of the free agent market. Start off with running backs. All right, boys. Now, we're pretty sure that there's not going to be too many running backs that the Packers would have their eye on at all, if any at all.
Right, there's a bigger market,
but there's a few guys that might be able to fit the table. So let's say we keep Aaron Jones, right? We structure him. He's all good. Who's going to be the number 2 if it's not Emmanuel?
I'm thinking Nyheim Hines stands out for me and Alexander Madison. Those two right there would fit our scheme pretty good. More power backs, but they both can catch the ball. Alexander Madison has a little bit to prove, I would say, more within the passing game, but I think overall would be great fits for the Green Bay.
Yeah, easily those two are my top 2 guys. But if we want to throw some other guys out, like RB3s, I mean, you got Julius Chestnut. He was a guy that didn't see too much time because he was behind Derrick Henry, but he is still a nice bruiser running back.
Otherwise, the other back I would see, kind of a bigger back, he would definitely be expensive, but damn, he would be fun to see behind Aaron Jones. I got Josh Jacobs.
Man, that would be interesting. I mean, you'd be splitting carries 50-50 with Josh Jacobs, who was the leading rusher 2 years ago. Right. It would be really nice, but let's stay on planet Earth a little.
Right.
Hey, we like to shoot for the stars sometimes.
Thank you, Easton.
We like to shoot for the stars sometimes, boys. We got cornerbacks and safeties, which is a massive problem for the Packers. What are some guys that stand out to you, free agency, that could fit the Packers scheme this year with the new DC?
Right away, everyone's thinking Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney, he's going to demand a massive contract, even though it is a loaded market this year, and you're going to see a lot of cheap 1-2 year deals. I don't think we'll get him. I do think we will get Cam Curl. He wasn't too bad a few years ago. He didn't do anything of note last year, but it would be nice to have him. And I think that they will definitely sign, somebody else, someone smaller name, like Alohi Gilman from New Orleans. It's going to be one of those like surprise ones, and I feel like Green Bay fans should temper their expectations because we know how we typically are in free agency. We're not always going for a big name. I can see us getting a big name, but also pairing it with a smaller one, like Gilman.
For linebackers, there's a lot of linebackers out there this year. What do you guys think who we might get for linebacker if we were to get a linebacker at all in the free agency?
And right now, just looking at it, there's two that come to mind quick. Azeez Al-Shahir. Played for Tennessee, was a forward, a Niner at one point. Not a bad linebacker. Could see him start if Devondre's gone. And the other one is Neville Hewitt. Played pretty well for Houston last year. Nothing outstanding, but he's one of those low-key, off-the-radar guys that we would definitely sign. As well as the one that just got cut from the Seahawks about 10 minutes ago, Nick Bellore. And if we're talking about special teams, perfect special teamer. 2-time Pro Bowler at special teams. Yes, he is 34, but he is also solid right there. And if you need, he can tote that rock.
Right. I would say the name that pops out to me for sure is Isaiah Simmons. Bigger dude, younger guy, fits the MO of Green Bay. He would be amazing to pair with Quay. He's more of a coverage linebacker. You could put him in at safety, dynamic, explosive. That's the guy I feel like would be a great middle linebacker to put next to Quay.
Since we're going young, we'll go with Patrick Queen.
Hey, that's a Packers wet dream right there.
I gotta go change my underwear, boys. What we got?
I remember the draft. We traded up, and we're thinking Patrick Queen, and then you get Jordan Love. You're like, what the? And hey, it turned out pretty well for us.
Yeah, for sure.
What the turned into wow, we got him.
Are there any honorable mentions that we didn't mention who could possibly be a free agent signing for the Green Bay Packers this offseason? Possibly kicking competition between Anders Carlson and Will Lutz. He was a free agent this year too.
Well, Nick Folk just got cut too, or not cut. He's parting ways, but
that would be a good one too. He's not bad at all.
No,
he was with New England, correct?
No, he was Tennessee, and he had the highest field goal percentage, I think, over the last 4 years.
Hey, that's all right. Yeah. We got room at special teams since we're not signing anyone at special teams now, right?
Right.
So my free agent, I'm thinking, and I got two. Ben Barch, the guard. If you remember him from the combine, he was that dude that made that ridiculous smoothie. He had the oats, he had the scrambled eggs, he had Gatorade.
Yeah, I just saw that video.
Gatorade, and he wouldn't be bad. I think third round, fourth round pick. Wouldn't be bad. Another one would be Wyatt Davis. Formerly played for the Vikings, but he got traded to the Giants, I believe, last year. Not too bad. Could be a solid depth piece, especially, if Elgton goes down and Runyon isn't back. You could have a guy like Wyatt Davis fill in.
So yeah, I was just kind of thinking Eric Kendricks was one guy that I was thinking of.
Throwback, old Viking, former Charger this past year.
I feel like him and Eric Wilson would pair very well together.
They are friends, though. So we saw the picture on Instagram of them together, so come on now.
I would love to see them paired up, and the vibes would be great in the locker room.
It would. Boys, do you have any final thoughts out there for free agency in general as a whole? It should be active. It should be really fun. I'm excited to see what happens this year,
I'm saying Green Bay surprise us.
Which that leads us to next week. Our next video will be our mock draft, right, boys? We'll do a mock draft. We'll show it to y'all. Let me know what you think. Also, let us know what you think of free agency. Thank you, Easton, the Packers Insider.
Let us know if we missed anything. Comment down below if you have any other options that you think will fit the scheme. Is that all we got, Stoy?
Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe. YG and the boys. We're out. See you guys on our next video.
Peace
Go
and
Pack,
love.
go.